The database transaction feature is the ability to ensure that a set of operations that are performed upon a database are completed in their entirety. If the set of operations fail, this feature provides the ability to roll back if the final step does not complete. Imagine transferring money between two bank accounts in a traditional database system. The process typically involves withdrawing money from one account before depositing it into another. However, if an error occurs midway, it could result in inaccurate or incomplete data. This is precisely why the database transaction feature exists, to ensure that either the entire process is successfully completed, or in the event of a failure, the system rolls back to its previous state, maintaining data integrity. Essentially, this feature has been implemented by introducing a set of components that can be used as part of a pipeline to manage transactions explicitly. These components include the begin, commit, and rollback components. The begin component denotes the start of a new transaction within a database. After this, we can use one or many SQL script components to execute custom SQL within the transaction. Or we can use the run transformation component to run transformation pipelines as part of the transaction. After the transaction has run, we can use the commit component to finalize the transaction. If something goes wrong, we can use the rollback component to revert the changes. The components within a transaction are executed within a single agent. Sometimes the agent needs to shut down, for example, to release new features. If that agent is executing a transaction at the time, it purposefully delays the shutdown until the transaction is finished. To go into more detail, Snea will walk you through a transaction, providing insights from the warehouse perspective.
We currently have the begin component here, which you just drag on, and it has no parameters. And so that's going to start the transaction. That's going to send a begin request to the warehouse. And then now we have a SQL script which has this insert into command, which is going to insert into this table. And so just to show you, that table is empty. And so because we don't have a commit or a rollback, we expect that this transaction will start, but it will not finish because we don't have a commit or rollback. And we expect that this insert is not going to be put into the table. So the value test1 shouldn't be in the table. So if I run this, okay, just to demonstrate. So ignore this bottom one, that's just one that was from before. But this top one is the one that we just started. It says 231, it's 231. So this is the one that we just started. And if I select from the table, you can see that it's not been inserted because the transaction's not finished and we didn't commit or roll back. But we do know from this command that we have indeed started this transaction. As you can see, 231, this transaction is alive. So now, obviously we would not recommend that to the customer, but that's just to kind of demonstrate that it's working. And now let's do a commit component. So once again, no parameters, but after this, it will send a commit command. Basically, we should be able to see the value test1 now in the table. So once again, empty table. So if I run this now, so one thing is that we shouldn't, so now it's 232, we shouldn't see the new transaction. So this is the one from before that I was showing, but we don't have a new transaction. That's because we've committed that transaction, so that's gone, so that's good. And then if we do this, we can see that it does insert the test1 into it. So that is the best, that is committing. So the final component that you'd want is the rollback component. So in this case, I will put test2, and we will not want, the transaction should finish, but the changes should not be made because they're rolling them back. So if I run this, if we look at the transactions once again, this is once again the initial one. So the one that we've just started now at 233 is not running anymore because we rolled it back. And if we run the query the table, we see test 2 has not been added because it's rolled back, but the transaction has finished.
So that covers how to use the database transactions feature to ensure that operations performed on your database are completed safely and in their entirety. If you found this tutorial helpful, please subscribe to our channel for more videos on the Data Productivity Cloud. To learn more about getting started with Matillion, visit matillion.com.